The Hazeley Letters, British settlers' voyage to Canada in 1896, RMS Majestic to Agassiz, BC. Hazeley Letter Series. This series follows the true story of four siblings, May, Jack, Harold, and Cecil Wright. It's 1896 and they are traveling from England to New York on their way to British Columbia, Canada. The siblings are on their way to settle in beautiful British Columbia and run their parents' farm in Agassiz. Each week, the siblings write home to their parents, updating them on their daily lives and the progress on their farm. The first letter, February 25, 1896. Cecil writes a letter to his mother while on board the RMS Majestic. Dear Mother, we have not got a bad sort of fellow in our cabin. He makes himself very friendly. We have only just found Jack's bag. We were afraid that it must have been put in the hole. The landing stage was simply crowded when the Majestic turned around. It was very nice you being able to come on just for those few minutes. I never thought they would allow you on the deck because they made such a fuss when I went down for the parcels. I will add some more to this before I get to Ireland if I can, but if not, I remain your affectionate son, Cecil. The RMS Majestic, 1889. Their journey begins when they board the RMS Majestic on February 25, 1896, in Liverpool, England. The ship was built and operated by the White Star Line. In 1884, it raced to be the fastest ship, eventually tying its competition in the race between New York and England. Captain Edward Smith. The captain of the RMS Majestic, when the Wrights were on board, was Captain Edward J. Smith. Later on, he was assigned to the White Star Line to captain their ships on their maiden voyages. Does his name sound familiar to you? His last voyage was as the captain of the RMS Titanic in 1912. After a long career as a captain for the White Star Line, serving in the Royal Navy Reserve during the Second Boer War, he is most famously known as the captain who went down with the ship when the Titanic sank on her maiden voyage. How these letters returned to Agassiz. In early 2025, the Agassiz Harrison Museum received a letter from Cornwall, UK, telling us about the collection and asking if we would be interested in accepting it. Absolutely. These letters to the parents of the Wright siblings had stayed in the UK, kept safe with a journalist known for her gift of storytelling. When she passed away, the letters nearly ended up in the trash. Thankfully, they were rescued just in time and passed along to someone else who believed the story was worth telling. Nearly 130 years later, the letters are back to where they were originally written, and it's time to share their story. The Hazeley Letter series can also be viewed on the Agassiz Harrison Museum website. Pioneer life in Agassiz, British Columbia, 1896. Weather and climate. Agassiz, British Columbia, Canada is located in the Fraser Valley. It is an area surrounded by forested mountains with the Fraser River running through it. The area is known for being very rainy. The spring in the Fraser Valley is traditionally very wet and cold, which can delay planting. In 1948 and 2021, the Fraser Valley experienced severe flooding as a result. The gold rushes were in full swing at the time of these letters. A new spot had just been discovered along Harrison Lake near Agassiz. Settlers and miners would come from far and wide to attempt to strike it rich. Community pride. The Wright family was part of the new town of Agassiz and was involved in setting up the churches and local establishments in the area. The Agassiz family, who the town was named after, are often mentioned in the letters. The Agassiz and Wright families were friends and frequently socialized together. Agriculture and farming. Agassiz and the Fraser Valley have a long history of agriculture and farming. Notably, the first hop yards in British Columbia were located in Agassiz. In 1896, domestic farming was essential for food security and often used in trade. Today, the town is still primarily agricultural and farming focused. Historical context. British immigration to British Columbia in 1890s. Post-Confederation, there was a push for settlers to immigrate to Canada, in particular for English families to settle in the Fraser Valley. It was rich in agriculture, gold, and natural resources. To entice families to settle in the Fraser Valley, the Canadian government would offer free land grants to settlers, only requiring a promise to develop the land and use for agriculture. Families would receive hundreds or thousands of acres for free from the Canadian government. The Canadian Pacific Railway had a line established across Canada at this time. It connected newly arrived settlers from Europe to the West Coast, where they received their land grants. In Agassiz, the Wright family lived only a few miles from the train station that helped them stay connected to the rest of Canada. The Agassiz Harrison Museum sits in an old CPR station right next to the very tracks often spoke of in the letters. Why these letters matter. These letters were nearly destroyed as they were passed through multiple sets of people to tell the story of the Wright family. After arriving at the Agassiz Harrison Museum, it was clear that these letters were rich in local history and captured the early years of the town, and offered a peek into family and settler life in 1896. Letters like these humanize the settler experience. They show the daily lives of people who lived during this time and make it more relevant to people today. Through transcription and research of these letters, new insights into settler life in the town have been discovered.